Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Ring Report. As you see right here, we are two men. Which one of these two men who have a long history outside WWE? Now they're bringing their history to WWE. Santos Escobar takes on Ricochet in the finals of the World Cup tournament. Which one of these two men will earn themselves a future Intercontinental Championship match against Walter Gunther? We'll talk about it coming up. Also, too, Sheamus ain't forgot about what had happened to him at Survivor Series. Sheamus' team, the Brawling Brutes, did not win Survivor Series War Games unsuccessfully as they should have, but Sheamus looking forward to getting some measure of revenge. And he takes on the man that damn near could have played a difference at Survivor Series in the Bloodline by showing his loyalty to who his loyalty stand with Sami Zayn. Sheamus take on Sami Zayn in the match coming up, as well as Damage Control. What's next for Damage Control after losing at Survivor Series against Team Bianca? We'll talk about it coming up. A lot of stuff going on coming up as the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Ring Report, and it starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Like I said, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. All right. We are here live and in living color. Right now, we're going to get you updated to SmackDown and a lot of pro wrestling hot topics. All right, we're going to get down with SmackDown. As you see right here, Santos Escobar will take on Ricochet in the finals of the SmackDown World Cup. Like I said, who's going to earn themselves a Intercontinental Championship match? We'll talk about it coming up. But we kick things off with this. The Bloodline is back. They done a lot of stuff tonight. We know that Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, especially Jey, cannot stand Sami. They had a victory speech for each other, talking about their true feelings and stuff, as Jey has finally learned to accept Sami into the group. So Sami now part of the Bloodline because of his loyalties on turning his back against his friend Kevin Owens and what he did. So it's a call being cool and chill, like cool as a cucumber. Ain't saying nothing, but they can always be the same and stuff. Well, we know that Sheamus came out there looking for a measure of revenge on what had happened to him at Survivor Series. His team was almost close to winning, but they didn't get the job done. It was somewhat unsuccessful against the Bloodline. Sheamus wanted his match later that night, and Sheamus looking forward to that match tonight. And Sheamus wanted that opportunity of a lifetime to get his hands on what he needed to get his hands on, the Bloodline. And Sheamus looking forward to his match. Sheamus didn't win. He won by Sheamus lost due to the help of the Usos helping Sami get the win. I thought Sheamus was going to get a measure of revenge, but that didn't happen. So what? Well, Sheamus got his revenge in a formal way. You ask me, Sheamus looking towards getting his revenge. Sheamus, the Usos was talking to Sami, and I don't know where the Usos. Let me see. The Usos get beat down by Sheamus. Sheamus beat down both Usos, leaving both of them laying out, both tag team champions. And I think we're getting a reminder that next week on SmackDown, the tag team champions will be defending their championships across all two brands. Next week, they take on the Usos, defend the tag team championship, the undisputed tag team titles against Elias and Riddle. That's next week. And two, also on the signature front, they take on Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. We had Sheamus and Drew McIntyre won their match last week over the Usos in an advantage match. Can the Usos find a way to win? This time the tag team championships are on the line. So we'll see that. Also, too, Emma was in action. Emma giving a good luck kiss to Riddick Moss. We know they're a real life couple in real life. They didn't want to play it out in the story. So Emma getting a good look, giving Riddick Moss a good luck kiss. But that didn't matter. That Shayna Baszler had destroyed Emma and left Emma laying out. So Emma didn't have that chance whatsoever. But but that's what we know so far. Also, too, we saw the return of Tegan Knox. Tegan Knox is back. Tegan Knox right there, helping out her friend. What's her name? Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan coming back, the former SmackDown Women's Champion, having a new ally in Tegan Knox. Liv Morgan and Tegan Knox win their match. Not win their match, but help each other out in aid. So we'll see that. Plus, too, Kofi Kingston announces that he will participate in the 2023 Royal Rumble. Kofi Kingston, known as a Royal Rumble enthusiast. Every time he in the Royal Rumble, he always does something like he almost close to being eliminated, but he finds a way to not be eliminated, a creative way. So Kofi Kingston announced his intention that he will enter the Royal Rumble match. And a lot of people, you're going to know who's going to end the fray, and we'll keep updated right here on the Pro Wrestling Show on who else will be entering the Royal Rumble throughout the weeks to come. Also, too, Santos Escobar. Talk about his long history with Ricochet. We know Santos and Ricochet has a long history. If you can date back to Lucha Underground, many of you may know that Lucha Underground was a groundbreaking show on the El Rey Network, or El Rey Channel, whatever you want to call it. That show had featured Rey Mysterio, Prince Puma, Conan, King Mortis, that dude with Katrina. You know what I'm talking about. And then another person, King Kiro was Prince Puma. Not Prince Puma, but Santos. Santos saying he declares victory tonight, and we'll have to wait and see on that. What Santos said he's going to do, he's going to declare victory some way, somehow tonight. Also, too, we know that what else do we know what had happened tonight? Also, that's kind of it in a way. We had Lacey Evans return. Lacey Evans, the Sassy Southern Belle. She might not want to call herself the Sassy Southern Belle right now. Lacey Evans getting a reboot again. This time, every time she gets a reboot, she always trying to bring the her innocence back some way, somehow. So Lacey Evans is coming back with a vengeance. And Lacey Evans now wants to show the world that she could be a top champion someday. Lacey Evans could be a women's champion somehow, someday. We just have to wait and see. But Lacey Evans showing a vignette of herself and what she's doing, the rigorous training that she's doing to get herself ready, get herself posted to somehow, someday, probably get a probably come back to SmackDown. I guess every time she came back, it was like she was trying to reintroduce herself, and sometimes it just didn't pan out for her. Stuff. Lacey Evans coming back shortly. She wants to come back, make a impact. You know how that goes. Lacey Evans wants to showcase the world that she wants to be a women's champion again. I think Lacey Evans has the tools to do so. She just has to find her niche. And I think she's getting there one way somehow. You know how that be sometimes. Lacey Evans coming back shortly. Gunter was in action as well. Gunter, the current Intercontinental Champion, awaiting who he will meet at the pay-per-view. Gunter will meet whoever is put in line in front of him to meet. We have to wait and see on that. And with Gunter being a pressing champion as of late and stuff. Gunther, showing the world that he wants to be the prince of SmackDown. He's the second heel. We just have to wait and see what's next for Gunther. What could Gunther do? What Gunther can bring to SmackDown coming up. So you know how that be. You know when you're kind of on your hands on your knees. You know how that go. Well, speaking of that, what else happened? We talked about it. The match between Santos Escobar and Ricochet. This match was built on nutrition. Ricochet won his match. Ricochet gets the opportunity. Well, we'll talk. Ricochet won his match. We'll talk about that later. Ricochet won his match. He gets a chance to go for the Intercontinental Championship again to the man that defeated him for the title. This time it's Gunther. We get a rematch, so we can see that next week. Whenever on SmackDown. Sorry, folks. Also, too, Shayna Baszler went against Emma. We talked about it. You know, Shayna will have a match against Shotzi next week, but this time Ronda Rousey will be in attendance. We'll see that match next week between these two women and how they gonna get down next week. Like I said, it's kind of weird. You see that match and you kind of think to yourself, like, man, what's really going on? But you get to see it next week. So we got a lot of matches next week. Ian Carey and Cross targeting Rey Mysterio out of nowhere, and Bray Wyatt even answering questions that he was not the one that attacked Eli Drake, LA Knight. So we don't know who the mystery person could have been, but hey, only thing we can tell you is we just have to wait and see and find out. But we're gonna end that with Ricochet. All right, let's move forward to Wrestling Hot Topics. We're getting word right now. A lot of people are making moves and shakes to WWE. Eric Young, particularly, could be heading his way back to WWE. Now, we know Eric Young was the leader of the group called Violent by Design. Cody Deaner and him had a segment that Deaner killed out Eric Young off of Impact. Deaner now is the new leader of Violent by Design. He act like it. So we'll get to see Eric Young coming back. We talked about William Regal coming back. We don't know what the status of Regal and the status of Eric Young, but a lot of people are, when you talk about when happened earlier with Tegan Knox was coming to the company, eventually she came back. So don't be shocked that Eric Young is coming back to WWE, and he's WWE bound to reunite his group Sandy with Nikki Cross and the rest of them. That she'll bring them back. Anyway. Also, too, we heard about Vince McMahon spent almost $30,000 on worms, and they said Vince was a little bit perturbed on what had happened, and Vince was not too happy about that whatsoever. I wouldn't be happy if someone spent $30,000 on worms. You could have been spent a car, made a down payment on a house or something. It's just a lot, but with JBL, ugh, hope he got sure. But when you think about it, I kind of remember back in 2006, something like that in the WWE when JBL went against the Boogeyman late 2005, early 2006. Who can remember when JBL's assistant Julian had got her cancerous growth it? That was kind of sick and disturbing at the time, but hey, it is what it is. Also, too, we're hearing stuff about Ricky Starks versus MJF. They will have a match at Winter is Coming for the AEW World Title. We know that's going to happen sooner rather than later. I'm looking forward to seeing that. MJF's first title defense after what he did, that devastating move to Realm Regal, and he puts his title on line against Ricky Starks. Plus, speaking of titles, we're hearing reports that Ronda Rousey may defend the SmackDown Women's Championship against Raquel Rodriguez coming up at the Royal Rumble. So we'll see them two women clash for the Women's Championship of SmackDown at the Royal Rumble. Okay. And we're hearing news that on Fox, the 20th anniversary of Tribute to the Troops. What our 20th anniversary is going to be, Tribute to the Troops. Who can remember the first Tribute to the Troops when it was on UPN, then it moved to USA, now it's on Fox. Real nice of WWE doing it on Saturday, December 17th on Fox. So we'll see Tribute to the Troops featuring these stars doing Tribute to the Troops. Real nice event. Classy. All right. That's going to do it for the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Ring Report. We're going to end it with Ricochet. Ricochet getting the opportunity once again to get a chance to become Intercontinental Champion one more time. If Ricochet do it this time and win the Intercontinental Championship, he won the World Cup, but it's time for Ricochet to put some boots and stuff. This is opportunity right now. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you all for watching the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Ring Report. I've been your host, Kenny Dixon. So long and have a great weekend. We'll see you next week for the Raw Ring Report. See you later.